I'm the kind of guy who likes to look for even the most tenuous possible connections between separate entertainment properties and try to argue that there could be a shared universe at work. Oceanic Airlines' Ticket and Fringe is set in the same universe as Lost. Finn and Jake from Adventure Time briefly cameoed in an episode of Futurama, then sign me up for Adventure Time and Futurama take place in the same multiverse, despite numerous inconsistencies between the two shows. And inconsistencies between two shows is what I want to talk about a little bit today. There's this thing that I like to call the Garcia-verse, which is a shared universe of television shows that producer Greg Garcia has worked on. At the very least, the shows Yes Dear, My Name is Earl, and Raising Hope all exist in this Garcia-verse. There may be more, but with the help of the internet, I've only uncovered connections between these three. I mostly want to talk about the connections between Raising Hope and My Name is Earl, since these connections raise more questions than they answer, and also these are the two shows that I've watched. My Name is Earl was a sitcom from 2005 to 2009 about a guy named Earl Hickey who spent the series trying to atone for the wrongs that he did earlier in his life. Raising Hope was a sitcom from 2010 to 2014 about a guy and his eccentric family trying to raise his baby that he had with the serial killer and the hijinks that followed. The connections between these two start in the very first episode of Raising Hope, when the family is watching the news and you hear mention of a man who just finished crossing items off his list, a clear reference to My Name is Earl, but nothing concrete just yet. But in season 2 of Raising Hope, we see Patty, the daytime prostitute who was in several episodes of My Name is Earl. She's even called by name, and she mentions that she is from Camden County, which is where My Name is Earl takes place. So this seems to prove that both shows take place in the same universe, right? Well, we've hit a snag. In season 3 of Raising Hope, Bert meets a network executive from NBC and kicks him in the nethers for the cancellation of My Name is Earl. So it's a fictional property in the world of Raising Hope, despite the connections we've seen already? Well, I have a theory that might be able to explain this and the other references. Earlier in season 3 of Raising Hope, we see the Earl J. Hickey Memorial Nursing Home. Now this is especially interesting because as of the end of My Name is Earl, Earl was still alive. So here's my theory. Sometime in between My Name is Earl and Raising Hope, Earl died and Earl's ex-wife Joy somehow convinced Earl's brother Randy to sell the rights of Earl's life to NBC and make a boatload of money. This would be very consistent with Joy's greedy nature and Randy's very dumb nature. Randy, possibly as a way of honoring his brother, wanted to set up the nursing home with what was left of the money that he and Earl had. This just about answers all of the questions about how these shows are connected, except for the big one. How did Earl die? Unfortunately, I've got nothing on that one. We're given no information on Earl's demise. For all we know, Earl faked his death and is still crossing items off his list. But if he is dead, and if I had to hazard a guess as to what happened to him, I would blame this guy, Little Chubby, who Earl believed was the father of Joy's child that she was pregnant with when she first met Earl. I'm not entirely convinced Chubby is the father. There was a whole lot of twists and turns in the series finale that may have all been red herrings, but Chubby was beginning to make Earl's life very difficult in the series finale, so maybe when Earl wanted to expose the truth, Chubby went in for the kill to keep things quiet. Most of the antagonists that Earl encountered in the show, he was able to rehabilitate in some way, except for Chubby, so my money's on him. But I could be way off base. There's plenty more shows that Greg Garcia has been involved with, so maybe we will get more information on Earl's death in another installment of the Garcia-verse. But until then, I hope you guys liked this episode, and in the meantime, I'll see you in the future. Have a good one.